Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Kuruma, and in today's video, I'll be breaking into my top 10 choices for the best purchases to make in 2023 for Grand Theft Auto Online. Let's get into it! As most of you can tell, the first vehicle in this list is the armored Kuruma. This is just an absolutely fantastic vehicle, whether you are a newer player or a fairly experienced one. Coming in at a price tag of $525,000, that's actually fairly inexpensive, especially for how much a lot of the newer cars cost in the game. The great thing about the armored Kuruma is all of the glass is completely bulletproof. Yeah, there's a couple spots here and there that you can be penetrated through the glass if you're not careful, but I'm gonna be honest, when you're doing missions or anything on that level, you're not gonna have to worry about being shot. For example, I can get these guys mad at me here, and as you're gonna see, everybody in the entire gang is gonna shoot at me. I mean, I am completely surrounded by dudes. Do not break into that question. But still, as you'll notice, I'm not taking any damage. It's a perfect example of why the armored Kuruma is an absolutely fantastic vehicle. Because even though this is a very old car, and there are some vehicles that have pretty good glass when it comes to semi-protectiveness, like the Amani Tech vehicles, if you're doing a mission that involves a lot of gunfire, a heist setup, or anything of that area, this is really the only vehicle in the game that you will have full protection at all sides from, and you can see that right here. Absolutely fantastic vehicle. In the number 9 slot, we have the Body 801. This is probably my favorite motorcycle in the game. I like a lot of motorcycles because they're really fast and super nimble. But the fact that the body basically checks off every single box makes it incredibly good, at least in my opinion. The body, first of all, only cost about $16,000 if you want to purchase it on Southern San Andreas. But let's say you don't want to purchase it on Southern, well, you're in luck. You don't need to. You can get a body for absolutely free if you just steal one off the streets anywhere, really. They're quite common to find on the road. All you need to be driving is a motorcycle, and it'll start spawning a lot more motorcycles to find. The Body 801 has one of the highest top speeds for a motorcycle when you're performing a wheelie at 136 miles per hour. Not only that, but it's got some of the best handling for all of the motorcycles class in the game. When you add those two together, plus the fact that this motorcycle is as cheap as it is, you can really start to understand why the body is such an amazing buy. I've been doing a time trial for a minute, as you can see, and we got 1.3 miles left until I complete this time trial. And I just wanted to showcase how easily this vehicle can complete a time trial with no sweat, no problem whatsoever. As you'll notice, I have not struggled even a little bit as of yet. So all we're going to do is make our way down here, keep on going, and it wants me to take this road, but I'm going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to go off here and then just drive straight on this little ridge. It's a lot easier to go down on this time trial, and it's going to save us a decent chunk of times. Here we are, just keep on going down. There you go. All right, now we just got to get down to the road, but I mean, the body is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I'm 1 minute 45 seconds on the clock. We're almost at the finish and done. 1 minute 50 seconds, which beat it by what, 25 seconds or something absolutely insane by that? Either way, Body 801 is by far one of my favorite purchases in the game for how cheap it is. The only thing that's really going to cost you money is the upgrades, but this is my, as I said, go-to vehicle for time trials. Up next, we have the Buffalo STX. This is the only Amani Tech vehicle to make today's list. I absolutely love the Buffalo STX, not only because it is incredibly fast at 126 miles per hour, but this vehicle also features a very, very solid handling coefficient. It's a 4-seater, which means you can very easily fit the whole parade inside your car. And it's Amani Tech, which means it can survive up to 12 homing rockets being fired at it. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. This vehicle also has semi-bulletproof glass, and you can't even home on it to begin with. So if you're in a vehicle like a Sparrow, an Oppressor Mark II, or anything that has missiles, this vehicle has a missile lock-on jammer that stops the ability to shoot at it with missiles, or at least home on it. So you're going to have to manually aim missiles in a helicopter and hit it 12 times while it's driving at 126 kilometers kilometers per hour. Yeah, good luck. So the only way to really take out a Buffalo STX is to chase it on foot. However, that's also tricky because, as you'll notice, I can drop proximity mines. Now, these proximity mines aren't the best. I like the slick mines because they're pretty fun. And honestly, slick mines get the job done. If you got somebody chasing you and you just spam these mines, it is very, very hard to follow somebody because you can spam these all the time, and if you just go around a corner, that is the end of a person going around a corner. And as I said, even if a person does have the ability to shoot at you, the glass is semi-bulletproof, which means you're going to struggle to actually break through it. As you can see, it takes quite a few shots to get through this glass on this side here as well. So the Buffalo STX is an absolutely fantastic car. Now, to be fair, it's not cheap. It's like $2 million to purchase, plus you got to upgrade it, and you need an agency to upgrade it, so it's not cheap at all. But if you have the money and you want the protection, especially while doing sale missions or anything like that, it is an absolutely fantastic car. Up next, we have a vehicle that a lot of you probably expected to make this list, being the Oppressor Mark II. There's a couple reasons why the Oppressor is amazing. First of all, it shoots missiles. Not only does it shoot missiles, but it has protection, being flares, which, as you can see, the missiles already went for. So that's amazing. You've got protection and you have missiles. When it comes to the speed, it flies at 109 miles per hour normally. However, if you press on the handbrake, you can fly up to 130, which is actually pretty fast. So the Oppressor is fast, very, very fast for transportation. It has missiles, it has flares. All of those are absolutely fantastic. This vehicle is also very easy to call in. You just go into your interaction menu, press on your motorcycle club, and boom, instantly spawn it next to you. However, there are some downsides. First of all, you gotta wait 5 minutes to get this vehicle back. And second of all, it is like a $5 million endeavor to get your hands on this vehicle because you need to own a terabyte, and as well, you need to then purchase the vehicle and upgrade it. So it's not cheap. Thankfully, it's not like the normal Oppressor where you have to unlock the upgrades through the bunker, but it's still pretty painful to get your hands on this vehicle and fully upgrade it. Later in this tier list, I'll be showcasing a vehicle that I think is just a lot better, so stay tuned for that. Our first flying vehicle in this tier list is the Rogue, an absolutely fantastic fighter plane. The Rogue is the second fastest flying vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. That is really weird and impressive at the same time. Why a plane that is a propeller is faster than F-16 fighter jets and stuff like that, the world may never know, but that is one of the things that makes the Rogue really impressive. Another thing that makes the Rogue really impressive is the fact that it can survive up to 3 missiles, plus you have flares. So you can survive missiles, you can fight off missiles, and very easily too. I mean, I can spam these flares, as you can see, but it gets even better. This vehicle fires an explosive machine gun, and you can see that right here. I can spam that explosive machine gun, blow up cars on the highway very easily, so that's another great thing about the Rogue. It has bombs, another great thing about the Rogue. You can see them dropping there. Bombs go in the water. And the Rogue can also seat 2 people, which is not very common when it comes to fighter planes. The Rogue is incredibly maneuverable, actually the most maneuverable of all the planes in the game. I mean, there's no downsides to this plane. Yes, it's a little weird on handling, but when you add in the fact that the Rogue is the cheapest of all the planes added in the Smuggler's Run update at like 1.2 million, this is an absolute steal of a vehicle. Every chance I get to shout out the Rogue, I will, because it is just such an amazing flying vehicle. Oh god. It may be an amazing flying vehicle. Unfortunately, I may not be as amazing as its capabilities there. Moving on to properties and things that make you money, the first we have is the Auto Shop. The Auto Shop is by far one of the best purchases I've ever made in the game, for a couple reasons. First of all, as a newer player, or at least when you start off in Grand Theft Auto Online, if you purchase an Auto Shop, all the upgrades you put on your vehicle are not only 5% discounted, every single upgrade, but as well, when you look at paints, you have all the metallic paints unlocked, where you don't if you look at LS Customs. So you're saving money on every vehicle you upgrade, and if you're a newer player and you plan on buying a lot of vehicles like I have, you're gonna save a lot of money. I spent $500 million on cars, and I would say a good $100 million of that on the cars is upgrades, which means I've probably saved close to $5 million just because I've purchased an auto shop on upgrading my vehicles. Very, very important purchase, and if you want to save money, really, really important. Not only that, but you can also do LS car meet races when you purchase the auto shop. I mean, you can do them before, but it's a lot easier to upgrade the vehicles when you have the auto shop. The next business we have is the agency, an absolutely fantastic business. The agency is really good for a couple reasons. First of all, you've got payphone hits, which is super easy. You go on your phone, you call Franklin, and you request a payphone. You make a lot of money, $85,000 when you complete one correctly. Takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you can do it again and again every time. You just wait for the cooldown. Not only does the agency have that, but as well, the agency comes with a massive garage. I think it's like a 25 car garage, which is a lot of vehicles. The agency has the ability to make free money passively as long as you complete contracts, which not only pay you a lot, but as I said, you get up to $20,000 every in-game day just by collecting your free money and doing auto shop contracts. And the final part is you have the Dr. Dre heist, at least I like to call it. It's a private contract, and if you complete the Dr. Dre setups and do all the stuff and then do the final mission, you're gonna make $1 million. It's about an hour of work for $1 million. And while the Kosatka is an absolutely amazing purchase as well, this is still very impressive, because while you're waiting for your Cayo Perico heist cooldown, you can do the agency's missions as well and make a boatload of cash while waiting for that cooldown. Next business we have is the Nightclub, an absolutely amazing business as well. The Nightclub is an absolutely fantastic beginner business and an absolutely fantastic business in general because of a couple reasons. First of all, the Nightclub makes passive money. You can see that at the bottom. I have $13,500 in my wall safe for doing literally nothing. Now, to be fair, I've been a little lazy not keeping up on my Nightclub's popularity, but that's just because I've got $84 million right now, and I don't need to worry too much about it. But if you're a player that does pay attention to your Nightclub business and you're newer to the game, $50,000 every 48 minutes is absolutely insane. That's $62,500 an hour. When you add into the fact that not only you're making that amount of money, but your Nightclub has a passive business as well that runs off of the other businesses like the motorcycle club and your bunker and as well the office, you're going to be making an additional like 100,000 every hour alone there. The Nightclub is incredibly easy to do sale missions with because of the vehicles that you get. And I should also point out that, yeah, you get upgraded vehicles with the Nightclub. For example, the Vapid Speedo Custom, which is not only somewhat armored on the front and has semi-bulletproof glass, but has a minigun that destroys the opponents in front of you. So the Nightclub is an amazing purchase. It's pretty cheap to get your hands on, especially if you wait for a discount week. Usually comes out for 30-40% off. Definitely get your hands on a Nightclub. The final two things we have for this list is the Kosatka and the Sparrow. The Kosatka was always going to make any list I make because it's such an amazing vehicle. The Kosatka is not only drivable, not only has missiles that you can literally sit inside your little gamer hut and then just nuke people if you really wanted to, although I wouldn't do that personally, it's kind of toxic, but you can. But the main reason why the Kosatka is so good is because of this, the Cayo Perico heist. This heist allows you to make on average $1.5 million every time you do it. You only gotta wait a 2-hour cooldown and you can start the setups again. It is one of the easiest ways of making money Grand Theft Auto Online has ever had, and because of that, it's just an amazing purchase. Usually what I do is I log into GTA once every day, do the heist, and then log off, because that way I'm still making about $10 million a week, which is plenty. The new update car is only like $2 or $3 million to fully upgrade and purchase, so I've still always got plenty of overhead when it comes to cash. The second vehicle that comes in part with the Kosatka, and the vehicle that I was talking about earlier that rivals the Oppressor Mark II, is this, the Sparrow. The Sparrow is amazing for a lot of reasons. First of all, it has missiles, and it has unlimited missiles, unlike the Oppressor, and it can just, you know, shoot them as fast as it wants as well. So that's the first thing. It's got a great arsenal of weaponry for what it is. The Sparrow is the fastest flying helicopter in the game at 165 miles per hour. Now, to be fair, it has one downside, which is the way it flies is always downhill. So if you try flying at max speed for too long, and you're not high enough in altitude, you're going to crash into a building, for example, the stuff in front of me. So that's another thing I should point out about the Sparrow. But it's not that expensive. I think it's about 1.7 million, a heck of a lot cheaper than the Oppressor Mark II. This vehicle is absolutely free to repair, so if it gets destroyed, you just call a new one in. All you need to do to call it in is go to services, go to Kosatka, request options, and you request your Sparrow. It takes 2 minutes after it's blown up to get it back, and it's absolutely free, and it will spawn next to you at all times. The Sparrow also comes with flares that you can shoot much faster than the Oppressor Mark II's flares because of the fact that this vehicle is not overpowered. With all those things in mind, I think the Sparrow is by far one of the best vehicles in the game, period. Yes, the Kosatka is the most important business to get, but when it comes to most important vehicles, the Sparrow is by far the most used vehicle for me. It is everything for me. Whether I'm crossing the map to go do a mission, or I need to ward off my motorcycle club because I'm getting raided, the Sparrow is literally the only vehicle I will ever use to go from point A to point B. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. This was a pretty fun one. I just wanted to make a list of all the vehicles that are incredibly important to own in Grand Theft Auto Online for 2023. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.